Hey guys, Hayden here for another discussion video. So, Pokkén Tournament is something that I am looking insanely forward to. It looks super awesome. But the problem I have with it is that the roster is really small when you take into the fact that there's over 700 Pokemon. So, I thought I'd get in my 2 cents and talk about the Pokemon that I want to see in Pokkén Tournament. Now, keep in mind, this is my own opinion. So, if you disagree, then by all means, tell me in the comments who you want to see in the game. I'd be more than happy to discuss it with my fans. Um, Keep in mind also, I've never actually played a Tekken game. I've played like Street Fighter and I've played like Mortal Kombat, but I've never actually played Tekken. So I don't know how it like is different from different fighting games. So if I'm a little off on like my terminology in this countdown or whatever, then like don't freak out at me. I've never played a Tekken game, but maybe Pokkén Tournament is going to help me get into that because I am definitely going to pick up Pokkén Tournament and play the living shit out of it. So without further ado, let's get into my top 5 Pokemon that I want to see in Pokkén Tournament. So number 5, I have Hawlucha. Now this is an obvious choice. A lot of people want to see Hawlucha in. He totally fits in a fighting game. Personally, I think he's the next best fit after Greninja in Smash Bros. As a Gen 6 rep. You know, he could use a lot of flying moves. Like he could use flying press, high jump kick, karate chop, focus blast, brave bird. Ton of cool moves that he could pull from. Pretty sure he could learn all of those. I didn't check, but they just seem like moves Hawlucha could learn. But no, I totally think Hawlucha fits. I mean, he's a freaking luchador. Like look at him. Like he totally looks like he belongs in like a wrestling ring or something. So why not throw him in Pokkén Tournament? Of course, again, an obvious choice, but definitely something that I personally want to see in Pokkén Tournament. So my next choice is going to be Breloom. Now, I love Gen 3. Like, I love Ruby and Sapphire, and Breloom is one of my favorite Pokemon from Ruby and Sapphire. But that's not only why I want to see him in. I mean, personally, I want to see him in. But I think he could work really well. I mean, any Pokemon could work well. But Breloom, I think he could be unique in the sense that he could really stretch his arms out really far. Because, like, he's able to. Like, he's really able to stretch out his arms. Like, that's what it says in his Pokedex description, and I've seen it in the anime before, too, where he's able to just like completely stretch out and like because his arms are usually like in here, so you wouldn't think they could stretch out, but it's really cool how they actually can. But it also, I think Breloom could also be unique in the sense that he could use like status effects, like because he has effect spore in the original Ruby and Sapphire. So like he could use things like stun spore, poison powder, sleep powder to kind of like throw off his opponent's games, and maybe also use like seed bomb because I don't think there is a grass Pokemon in the roster yet. So I think Breland could bring a lot of unique play styles to the table, being the long punches and the status conditions and grass attacks. Maybe he could use Leech Seed as well. I think that could be really unique. Maybe sapping their health because I don't think we've seen an example of a move that does that in Pokkén Tournament yet. So my next choice is going to be Snorlax. Now Snorlax, I have always loved Snorlax ever since Ruby and Sapphire, or since not Ruby and Sapphire, since Red and Blue. I've always loved Snorlax. Just a big, lovable thing. I loved him in the anime. How he's always like eating everything and just falling asleep. But I think Snorlax could be again really unique. I think he could be a huge, huge. I mean, he would be a huge heavyweight because he is. He's like the second heaviest Pokemon or something like that. Maybe he's third. I'm not sure. I think Groudon's the heaviest. But Snorlax could be a huge heavyweight. But because of this, I think he could also like hit really, really hard. Like he'd be slow, and he would also be he'd also be like probably easier to combo. Now I don't know if like that makes a difference like weight in comboing in Tekken. Again, never played a Tekken game, but I think he could be easier to combo. But because of that, he could also hit a lot harder, kind of like heavyweights in Super Smash Bros. Like Bowser and Donkey Kong. I think he could use moves. I think he could use moves from the anime pretty cool. Like like Ice Punch. He used a lot. He used Hyper Beam, and he would have to have Body Slam. I think that could be a super deadly but super punishable move. Again, Snorlax would definitely be not an expected pick in my opinion, but I think he would totally work in Smash Brothers, and I think a lot of people would be happy to see him in. Again, he'd be super slow and super heavy, but he'd hit like a goddamn truck, which is what I would love to see. I would love to just see like Snorlax just like falling over on other characters. So that's my number 3 spot. Now moving on to number 2 is another obvious one, but I think he's gonna get in no matter what. It's Mewtwo. Mewtwo is a super big badass, and he's been in 2 Smash Brothers games now. Fans love him, whether it's in Pokemon or in Smash Brothers. I think Mewtwo's gonna get in. I think he could be a super fun and gimmicky character like in Smash Brothers, where he could use a lot of like tricky psychic moves like Confusion and Disable. Actually, I think Disable's a normal type move, but his signature move would have to be Shadow Ball. But I think it would also be really cool if he had something like Sky Strike, where he like really like charged it up like for a long time and then unleashed like a big explosion of like psychic energy. It could take a while to charge up and it could take a while to recover from, but it could be like super deadly. I think that would be an awesome move. But I think he can also maybe use like because he can learn a lot of moves, so maybe moves like Thunderbolt or Ice Beam or something could also get in there. I think there's a lot of potential for Mewtwo, and again, I think out of the 5 choices I have here, he's the most likely. Again, super badass, super cool, super fun to play as in Smash Brothers, and he's one of the original he's one of the most popular Pokemon, not just in the original series, but in Pokemon in general. I think there's so much you could do with Mewtwo, and I think he's just guaranteed. I think he's guaranteed to get in. So my last spot that the last Pokemon that I want to see in Super Smash, or not Super Smash Brothers, fuck, in a Pokkén Tournament, is Swampert. So I absolutely love Swampert. Mudkip was my first, or it was my original starter in Ruby and Sapphire. I played the other games before that, but I still have my original Swampert from Ruby and Sapphire. It's currently in my Pokemon Y. Uh, Swampert's just awesome. I don't think he's exactly popular in my opinion. I don't even think he'll get in because he's not really a popular Pokemon. But I think there's a lot of potential for Swampert, just like most Pokemon, because pretty much any Pokemon can work in this game. Because we've seen like Suicune. I think he could use a lot of like really large ground and water attacks that have a lot of range that maybe are like more punishable. So things like Earthquake and Surf. But I also see things like Hammer Arm and Ice Punch also working because he's got like goddamn massive arms. And of course, like he would have to Mega Evolve as his like there's like power up attacks or something like that when you charge up a meter. I'm not exactly sure how that works in Pokkén Tournament. I've been following it, but I haven't been like analyzing it like Game Explained does and stuff. But I think he could be like another like slow and bulky Pokemon, but when he Mega Evolves, I think he could turn into like a really fast Pokemon. Again, I don't know how those supercharged moves work or whatever, but I think if he became faster, it would definitely be it would definitely change up how you play Swampert, and it could totally throw off like your opponents. Like they would have to completely adapt to Swampert's different playstyle now because he's faster and definitely more powerful. Because Swampert, when he Mega Evolves, looks like he was hitting the gym, like drinking all those protein shakes, stuff like that. So those are my top 5 Pokemon that I want to see in Pokkén Tournament. Just to recap, Hawlucha was my 5th spot, Breloom was my 4th spot, Snorlax was my 3rd spot, Mewtwo was my 2nd spot, and Swampert was my number 1 spot. So if you guys don't agree with those, or you guys have different Pokemon that you'd like to see in Pokkén Tournament, please discuss it in the comments. Share this video if you enjoyed it, leave a like, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more on Pokkén Tournament and other things Nintendo. Alright, peace out guys. Bye.